Richard Miller says it's a lot of fun. He's the state of Michigan fire marshal, and he is on the other end of our AT&T line right this second. Happy Halloween to you, sir.
Same to you. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Do you have any idea what went on in Detroit last night? When I was younger, they had Devil's Night, and I remember there would be nearly 1,000 fires in one night, and then I think it was Mayor Archer who enacted Angel's Night and sent out volunteers to make sure that didn't happen anymore. And since then, we sort of stopped hearing too much about it. Was it a quiet night in the city?
Yeah, it's my understanding it was. I know that number has really drastically decreased. I believe last year it was under 100, so they've done some great work for fire prevention and get that under control.
Glad to hear that, because that was a national embarrassment at the time. If you remember, they called it Devil's Night. Now it's Angel's Night. But nevertheless, you want people to be careful on this Halloween, and you have some tips for us.
Right. You know, we always talk about fire prevention in the month of October because that's Fire Prevention Month, and I guess I want to talk about fire prevention as we roll it out into the streets, so to speak, for all the kids and actually adults that go with them for trick-or-treating. And what we're talking about is costumes that could possibly be flammable, and so we're talking about people that should be conscious of using, instead of candles to be carrying around or lighting their pumpkins, we're asking for everybody to be mindful to use either battery-operated, they have some great LED stuff going on right now, or glow sticks to light up their decorations, and just be mindful of all that.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the old tradition was to put a candle inside a jack-o'-lantern, and now they have those battery-operated ones that last for hours and hours and hours, and they flicker just like real candles, and you might need to use 2 or 3 of them, but that's a pretty inexpensive way to do it and safe. You can put them in there and forget about them.
Pretty much so, yeah. I mean, the technology that they've come with illumination for that decoration is just, it's unbelievable. It's really good stuff.
Let me ask you something I've been curious about. You know, I know that sometimes they use those wax bags during the holidays that have a candle in them, and you put them along the sidewalk, for instance. Are the bags are covered in wax? So I think so. They're not a risk, are they, or are they?
Well, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, there's so many different kind of illumination candle devices that I've seen. I've seen stuff from metal containers with glass on them to bags with wax that you're talking about. I've seen plastic ones. You know, you just whenever you purchase and you're going to use that stuff, you have to be mindful. You have to read the manufacturer's recommendation and follow the directions for safety.
You know, the other one I'm curious about in the summertime, and I've done it myself, those Chinese lanterns that you light, and they fill up with air, and they float up into the sky, and there's like a little wax pad and a candle in the bottom, and you light them. It seems to me like it's amazing that those are legal, because aren't they a fire risk?
Well, I would say they are, but they're, again, you have to follow the manufacturer's recommendations, be mindful of where you're using those.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not supposed to use them in certain weather. The temperature has to be right. Can't use them by power lines. There's all kinds of
we ignored all that
advice.
I mean, the one we lit blew right up into the tree on top of the condo, and I thought, yeah, this is going to be I'm going to be on the national news for this. But
that's exactly what we don't want.
But I have done it safely too. Your favorite Halloween costume when you were a kid?
Oh boy, dressed up as a fireman.
Well, there you go. Very prophetic, and you're going to do that today, too. Thank you very much, and happy Halloween to Richard Miller, the fire marshal for the state of Michigan.